Hey, Gabriel Blake.
Hey, bro, Jose.
Where are we tonight?
We are in our apartments,
You
alone
sound
together.
alone together. Socially distancing. Sorry, no, physically distancing, but not socially.
But not socially, heaven forbid. People
Yeah,
get the wrong impression by saying social distancing.
but that's a funny thing because when people say that, it's almost like saying like, yeah, I'm physically away from other people, but I still feel close to other people. I don't feel like that. I feel like actually being physically distancing, it makes me feel like way more away from other people.
I agree with you, but also, like, I feel closer to my family right now because we Zoom for some reason. We didn't talk to each other before, but now we're like, there's a pandemic.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that I think that that's unrelated. You know, you were already like seeing people before as we were seeing each other at least once a week. This is not the same value that I get when we actually hang out at a dive
Oh,
bar.
for sure. Although I have to tell you that as an extreme introvert, because of the pandemic, I'm more willing to answer friends' phone calls because I know they can't ask me to go hang out.
You know that it's not a trap for making you
It
hang
is a
out.
trap, and that's why I don't answer. And that's
That's
why
fair.
in our 7-year relationship, we've spoken on the phone like 4 times.
Yeah, the funny thing is like I used to love to talk on the phone. And since all these messaging apps became predominant, it's like at this point, it's like, why are
Yeah,
you
there's no
calling me?
need.
Yeah, I mean,
Get
just send me a
texting,
text. Yeah,
WhatsApp.
just text me. And eventually, I would just like, get right back to you. Okay, should we talk about the movie of this time?
We really should because I'm so excited to get my first 10 out of 10 on this
Your
podcast.
second, your second after La Ventura. So I start thinking that this is at
Ah,
the same level as La Ventura, as Antonioni masterpiece. So the movie this time was Sunshine, and this
your
time
pick.
it was my pick. And the reason why I picked this is because I only watched it once in Spanish, like many years ago when it was released, and I thought that it was garbage. I thought that it was like just plain garbage. It was a bit more like, okay, this is the director. This was directed by Danny Boyle, and I couldn't really understand why Danny Boyle was doing a sci-fi movie. And I think that this one is even prior to 20 Days Later.
It was after because 28
I was
days later
after.
was 2002.
Oh,
I was
gotcha. So five
already in
years.
love with Danny Boyle because of 28 days later.
So as I'm older than you, I had really high hopes for Danny Boyle because of Transporting. Because
Uh-huh.
Transporting, I think there's like a really good representation of the
And
90s. Well,
Slumdog Millionaire.
that was significantly later, and I'm not going to be like getting into that. But I was interested in seeing what he could do with a bit more of a hardcore sci-fi kind of movie. And when I watched it the first time, I was like, "This is not good. This is just plain bad. It's not mediocre, just bad." So talking randomly with my Gaybro Blake, once he told me that he really likes this movie, that he thinks that it's a masterpiece. So we decided to
So,
just watch it
so
again.
what did I say? Tell them the rest, the caveat. It's a
In
masterpiece for the first two-thirds, and then it's a shit show. But
okay,
those first two-thirds are pretty
so
freaking great.
okay, to come completely clean, the first time that I watched it, it was with this group of friends that I had in college. Well, after college, and that we
Screw
used to
you
get together.
for cheating
Yeah,
on
sorry,
me.
man, I had a life before meeting you. And we used to watch a movie a week of terrible movies. And we thought that this was like pretty bad. The first two thirds, they were like, this is okay. And the last third was just plain garbage. So I
It's
just
better than okay, and you know it.
Just hold for a second. So now, after we discussed, and you came clean with your love for this movie, we discussed that I said we should watch it again. And at the same time, we had a revival of this movie club that I used to have back in the day. Now, because everyone communicates through Zoom, as you mentioned, and we watched this movie again.
Recently, right? Like it was this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend, like 3 days ago, 2 days ago,
So
actually.
I watched it today and yesterday. I
So that
rewatched it.
means that means that you watched it twice,
Oh
once
yeah.
yesterday and once today. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, today I only watched the first two-thirds and then I turned it off. But I mean,
Okay.
the good parts I watched twice.
Okay, that's cool. So, what's your opinion? What is the synopsis about this movie?
All joking aside, I genuinely think the first two thirds is really good cinema. I like the actors. I like the science. And I'm not a science fiction guy. I rarely like science fiction films. But this was just the science is believable. I watched a documentary about the validity of the science of the movie Sunshine. Um, I loved the cast. I loved the dialogue. They made super smart choices about the storyline that they kept in terms of the relationship with the characters. In fact, you might notice in the film that there is supposed to be a romance story arc between Rose Byrne and Cillian Murphy, and they cut that out because it just kept this very lean story of these are there six of them? Six astronauts
Hmm.
hurtling at a dying sun.
Hmm.
And the imagery, some of the images, I'm looking at one right now because it's your Zoom background, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, aesthetically, yeah, I cannot discuss that. It's beautiful.
And like when the greenhouse is on fire and the actress is like sobbing in this S shape in front of the flame. Oh my gosh. And the music, this is a good movie for the first two thirds. It's a good movie.
Okay, so in order to avoid just coming clean, in order to avoid just any kind of like disagreement, I took notes this time because I knew that you really like this movie, and I
Well,
wanted
at
to
least
have
let me
like a
watch it. Did you
clear
actually
kind
watch this one or did you play Candy Crush on your phone during?
of. I was playing Flappy Bird while I was watching this, but I didn't need my full brain for it. So, what is this movie about? Because you only said about like how much you love it, but you didn't say why you like it. Sorry,
Oh,
what is the
sorry.
movie
Let me
about?
give you a
Yeah.
synopsis. Our star is dying. Do you know how many turns I've heard that. I seriously, all joking aside, I've seen this movie probably 20 times. It's about a group of 6 astronauts on a giant fucking nuclear bomb the size of Manhattan. Okay, it sounds really lame. It's not that lame, I promise. And this is different than the core, I promise you.
Holy shit, we compared it with the course so many times while watching it.
So they're 50 million miles from the Earth, flying to the sun on this massive ship that has this big payload on it, and they're trying to reignite the sun. And this is the Icarus 2, the second mission, because 7 years earlier, another group went out there trying to do the same, and they disappeared, and the sun didn't turn brighter, so they know they failed. So on the way, there's this cool science drama, human drama, and then Mercury acts as an antenna, and they just happen to pick up a distress signal from the Icarus 1, and they've just been floating there for 7 years, and that's where the movie ends.
Well, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't end
Oh,
there.
yes, there's
Sorry.
another third.
And I would say that actually when they find the Icarus one, when they decide, sorry, you actually stop the movie when they realize that the Icarus one is out there.
That's where
So
I would end the film.
that's like 20 minutes into the movie, man.
No, it's not. Once they board Icarus 1.
Oh, okay. So when they board it, not when they find the signal, because there is like plenty of drama that it happens from when they
Oh,
go to
yeah,
Mercury.
sorry. When they board. And even
Okay.
the scene when they board Icarus 1, when they have those subliminal flashes of the
Oh, the
photos of
photographs.
the Icarus 1's craft,
And it's,
that's genuinely creepy and awesome. And then everything falls apart and it turns into a shit show.
I would say that it would have been more awesome if they had actually just displayed like big and juicy dicks, like the Fight Club
Not
did.
every movie is Fight Club, but
They wish they were. So you actually would stop it there after they have like those photographs, like just coming up, and just say like,
I
wow,
would
what's
say
going on?
so. When they board Icarus 1, there's the subliminal messages, there's dust everywhere, and you know something weird happened. It wasn't just like the spaceship blew up. That's where I feel Danny Boyle was like, how bad can we make this movie?
Well, probably Alex Garland has something to say there.
So then just in terms of plot, the captain of Icarus One decided the world deserved to die, so he sabotaged everything, stayed alive, just in case Icarus 2 came by and he could jump onto Icarus 2 and sabotage that one as well.
Do you think that it was like just from the perspective of jumping into Icarus, a potential Icarus 2, or it was a bit more what he was saying about like being the last man alive talking with God?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely he had illusions. I'm just saying for a plot device, it was very convenient that he was able to change ships.
But the thing is, the the thing that I find like just mind blowing is that besides that not making any kind of sense, like from that point the movie makes no sense. Is that when you start like just wondering like, could this have happened? Nope, nothing out of this point could have happened. But it's like why? Why did you actually take Event Horizon basically and just stick it on top of the core?
Fuck you, man. And okay, could you tell me what you thought of the moment until they boarded Icarus One? Just that part.
Look, I have like plenty of notes at the beginning, I can read it to you. But I got to a point that is like, look, this is mostly nitpicking. Is good. I mean, it's good. It's okay. I will give it a 6 to that point.
I would give it a 6 too. Yeah.
And it's like, it's okay. I mean, it's good. There is nothing like wrong. It's like, sure, it's like sci-fi, but it's like, it's a bit more serious than the core. The core is like so over the top, so campy that is like, you cannot take it seriously. This is like, okay, they made an effort. My only complaint, you were saying that is okay, the characters are a bit more like fleshed out. I had a feeling that they are very one note, most of the characters.
Yeah, that's probably true. Like the character, the captain's second in command, I was so annoyed at how boring that character was.
Yeah. Is okay, that guy is a coward. That guy is angry. That guy is like extremely pragmatic. That guy is the girl.
This guy's the psych officer who's losing his mind.
Yeah, it's, that guy, the psychologist, holy shit, the psychologist that is like, he has an orgasm at the first 3 minutes of the movie, like just staring at the sun. Like, and he puts the aviator glasses. He's like, yep, nope, nothing happens. He says, so you are like just telling me that we're 50 years in the future and the best sun protecting gear that you can have is a Ray-Ban aviator. He's like, I'm sorry, it's true that I read also that they have a, how do you say, like a scientific counselor for just making sure that the sci-fi here was a bit more believable.
Yeah.
But that character, everything that involves the psychologist is garbage.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, that's
Maybe.
the point. That's the point that is like, I even wrote down when I was watching the movies that, yeah, there's like a self-destruction desire when I look at the psychologist in this movie and when I look at Annihilation. And then when I read it, it's like, oh, actually it's from Alice Garland too. What
you just happened to read the book and we both saw.
I read it
I read
afterwards.
The book as well.
Yeah, but I read the book afterwards. Like, I don't know, like Monday. But it was a bit more like, yeah, but it was a bit more like just trigger from this. Well, okay, now I want to just read the source material to see if he actually came up with all of this or not. And he did. It's like it looks like he has this kind of topic, like recurring theme about like self-destructing desire.
Self-destruction in the context of science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, there are not so many authors, so many authors that they could come up with something like that. I like it.
Do you think the scene where they fix the panels, Kaneda and the captain, what do you feel about that scene?
Oh, Kaneda was the captain, and then Cliff Curtis is the actor. No, Cliff Curtis. What is the name of the guy that is
character?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy. Yeah, Robert Kappa, and Kaneda go out. I mean, it's okay, but look, when we finished watching the movie with this group of people, with this group of friends, I was asking them, is that look, I had a feeling that there's a recurring kind of storytelling resource that Garland is using. That is like, there is a tragedy, and then there is another tragedy, and then there is another tragedy. That's the reason why I was asking you, just to make sure that when they get to Mercury, the setup of the story, I think that is okay. Visually, it's okay. Visually, is more than okay. It's like really well made from a visual perspective. But from that point, the storytelling just fall into this kind of resource of everything that they do goes wrong in some kind of way, and then they have to just figuring out one way of fixing it and one way of fixing it. And there is always this kind of follow-up kind of thing. And another movie that made me think about that kind of resource, it was The Core, and the other one is The Martian. The Core is garbage, but it's enjoyable garbage. And The
Martian is a tremendous comedy.
You're never going to forget that from the Golden Globes. Or musical. We are not going to be just deciding here.
We don't know which, but it's one of the two. A great musical, great comedy.
But I was just wondering, it's like, why does it work with The Martian, but it doesn't work here for me?
Because it does work here.
It doesn't. It just feels like everything, when I think about the storytelling on this movie, is like, it's extremely far-fetched. It's like just someone like just holding my hand about like, no. Let's just make it a bit more far-fetched.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying.
But the resolution, but the resolution of each one of those situations is significantly better than The Core does, because The Core does the same results.
I'm sorry, but all joking aside, you can't even put them in the same... what's the phrase? I don't know. You can't.
In the same bucket?
Yes, in the same bucket. They're so...
Quality-wise, I agree with you, but both of them are about like just sending a crew to some place that no one has gone and come alive for just restarting something that has mysteriously stopped.
Okay, yes, those basic things.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that they are the same movie, but they are like two sci-fi movies where they are sending a crew to a mission that probably they're going to be like dying doing it. But it's for saving all humanity.
I'm trying to think what else there is to comment on.
To comment before going into the last third.
No, we're not going to talk about the last third.
Oh, no, we are. I'm sorry.
There was one other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Something with Rose Byrne. All right, whatever. Anyway, gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. So many of those screens could just be...
wallpapers.
So many of the shots could be like a beautiful photograph. I can't remember. Okay, let's move on.
I agree with you, but that's the funny thing. You mentioned it earlier about the having a scientist like just giving some kind of feedback for just trying to make it okay or more believable. And with the 2/3 of the movie, I think that it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. The body of that guy when he goes into the space, the second captain, is that he doesn't explode. He just freezes to death. It's like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. This is not a Total Recall. You don't explode. And then unexplode. But then when you get to the last part, it's like there is a complete disregard for the laws of physics. But complete. When there is this scene with the guy with Cillian Murphy just facing the wall of the sun in front of him, it looks gorgeous. By all means, it looks gorgeous, but it's like as physically accurate as the fountain from Aronofsky. There is like that scene when he just jumps into the space. It's like, that looks amazing.
Is this the shot behind you right now?
The what?
But the scene you're talking about, they're in the room the same as your Zoom background, right?
No, this is at the beginning of the movie. This is when the psychologist is looking at the sun.
But it's in the same room that Cillian Murphy...
No, because he's in the room that is in the front, that is supposed to be exploding and creating like this new sun inside of the sun. Like just reactivated the sun.
And the bomb at the end. Got it.
Yeah. But that's the part is like, look, I don't know. If that a scientist said that this was okay, it was not. Like I'm pretty sure that you cannot stare like 2 inches away from the sun and just survive that.
But it wasn't I don't know. It wasn't the sun, right? He was just letting it go of the ship and sending it to the sun.
Yeah, but it's like...
The nuclear explosion happens.
But it's exactly the nuclear explosion is starting to triggering, and the sun is like just like Ernie, like just gaining some terrain, and there's this kind of, like, oh, are they going to see this accident? Because it looks like the reaction is not going to be like happening in time. And the sun is starting to just... Right. It was like just so cringe-worthy at that point. It's like, look, I know that in your mind this was going to be like looking gorgeous, and it looks gorgeous, but it actually just kills the two first parts of the movie. Not
But
only
did you?
this, everything else that happened.
So I
But
didn't take that scene literal because it's echoing the scene from earlier in the film when he describes what's going to happen when they detonate the bomb.
Mhm.
And I mean, obviously he died instantly, but I think, I could be wrong, that Danny Boyle just kind of froze time in that moment. And then it's not literal that he's standing in front of the sun because obviously he would die. Anyway, that was my take, but I see what you're saying completely.
I mean, he's just looking at the sun, and there is like the camera recording, like moving around. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to be like playing it just right now for a second, that he's just staring at it. Yeah, I'm freezing. Sorry, I'm like just burning you with the sun, but it doesn't burn you because you're going to be like following us. Oh yeah, I don't have here. This is different. God, all that part, man, is like that's Event Horizon. This is just so cringe-worthy what he did on the last part. Uh, Sorry, I just
No, you're good. I'm looking on YouTube. So that's the last scene that you commented on earlier.
yeah, you can actually see how he's like reacting and screaming at the wall of sand, and then he opens his eyes again. So it's like multiple seconds. It's like basically a minute of the sun is in front of me, but there may be some kind of physics property of this bomb that is about to just explode behind me that maybe protects me.
I just sent it to you. The exact scene.
Yeah, he's almost about to just touch it with his hand. Is that visually is amazing. It's gorgeous. But is that we're talking about a movie that at the beginning of the movie they say like, look, I cannot increase the bright of this room to 4% because that will just make you blind. That would be like just phosphatinating you.
But I think that this isn't supposed to be literal. Like if you look at if you start at 124, you're going to see an overhead shot that's going to fully consume his body. He dies at 129. And then there's like the metaphorical after. This is the moment before he died, the moment that he's talked about, that he's not afraid. I really don't think this is supposed to be literal.
True, it could actually be like just coming to terms,
This is
with
when he
it.
dies and goes to heaven.
Are you really trying to defend this honestly? It's like why did you actually try to have like the science behind science and at the same time just put this together? Like this last scene, like, I cannot take it like seriously as a science
Well,
product.
I told you I only take serious the first 2/3.
Look, this
Yeah,
last part,
it's a total shit show. It's a clusterfuck of a movie where Danny Boyle for some reason was like, let's turn this into a thriller and murder them each one at a time.
I mean, basically, the problem that I have with this is like, I know that you didn't like Event Horizon. We watched it and you were not a fan of it. But it's like, I had the feeling that Alex Garland, I would need to read the original book, but I had the feeling that Alex Garland got to a point about like, I don't know how to make this more interesting. So I watched this movie like 10 years ago that is called Event Horizon. I think that this could work here if we actually are like some kind of psycho killer in space.
I can't argue against that. I mean,
He ran out of ideas. He just went like,
can't explain it.
Yeah. And that's the problem that I have with this movie because, as I told you, like I think that the beginning of the movie is a six, and even like aesthetically is decent, but it's like it just go down the drain. It's like how come someone review this, like the producers, the studio, review the script and say like, let's just keep it like that. We think that it
it's
works.
really a pity. I think of how all the possibilities of what could have happened once they boarded Icarus 1 and they just chose this terrible story.
Yeah. I just felt we're discussing because I told you that when I was writing all the stuff, when we got to the last part, I stopped writing. It's like I can't keep up. It's that this is just bad at this point.
So when I watched it yesterday, was paying full attention until the last third, and then I paid about 50% attention because it like hurt me. It hurt me to watch. And then today I just stopped it. I was like, once they boarded the ship, I was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask
So
you this though. So I used to consider myself a big Danny Boyle film. I think I still am a fan. I mean, not everything he does is great, but sometimes he has interesting things. But this was a long time ago, and when I mentioned to you that I like Danny Boyle, you were surprised. Why?
because I had a feeling that from an aesthetics perspective, he's good. He has like a good aesthetic vision, but I don't think that it succeeds on anything else. And even when you only analyze this as from aesthetics perspective, this is not Tarzan scene. It's like it's good, but it's not something that is as memorable as Tarzan scene.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the reason why I felt surprised. That is like I don't think that this guy excels on the aesthetics, and most of the scripts is that they don't hold properly. It's like I could watch Transporting
But he
again.
doesn't write the scripts. It's about the direction.
Yeah, it's the direction, but he also, I mean, I want to think that he chooses the movies that he's going to be adapting.
So I genuinely don't know what your answer is going to be about these, but you didn't like 127 Days Later, right?
I had 20 days later.
Yeah, it's not 127. That'd be a long
That's a
time to be on
lot
that
of
rock.
day. The thing, I went to cinema to watch it, and I had to say that I was okay with it, but I was like way too purist about the movie, and I was thinking
It
like
was
George,
it was 127 hours. Sorry, go ahead.
20 days later. Are we talking about?
No, 127 hours. That's what I was trying to say. The James
Oh,
Franco film about the guy who cut his arm off.
oh no, I didn't watch that. I didn't.
Okay. Trans? Did you like Trans?
Trans. I didn't watch that because at that point I was already like, yes, oh, it's Danny Boyle. I'm out.
Millions? I think you would like Millions.
You think? Okay. I mean, I can give it a try, but I
The
think that
Beach? You did not like The Beach.
I didn't.
I liked The Beach, and I'm not exaggerating. I think it's a
No,
good
no, no.
movie.
Look, I mean, it's fine. I was transporting. I was the last 30 minutes of the beach. I know that I should watch the whole thing for just having like a proper opinion about it. That's the reason why I'm not like too vocal about it. I was 28 days later, and I told you, it's like I had the feeling that as a purist, at that point, this was the first movie that replaced zombies with running zombies. And I feel like
It was.
I think so. I think that it was the first one that it changed the mentality. And I felt like, no, that's not how George Romero thought about this.
But he
So,
was very vocal,
perfect
Danny
movie.
Boyle, that they were not zombies. This was just a sickness. They weren't dead.
Sure, but the problem is like there were like plenty of other zombie movies that they took this. So this was like the first one to do this. And it's true, he doesn't call them zombies. They're zombies. When
I'm
they
Googling first running zombie movie. Someone said an answer which is wrong. So anyway, yes, okay, so you did not like 28 Days Later. That is another movie that I absolutely loved until the last third.
well, I mean, I will have to watch it again because as I told you, that I have the feeling that I don't like it because as when we talk about the two phases of January, is that I cannot detach it from the work that inspired this. And in the case of Two Faces of January was the talented Mr. Ripley, and in this case it's all the Night of the Living Dead, the Dawn of the Living Dead, blah blah blah.
All right, that's fair.
So I mean, maybe if I watch it again, I wouldn't feel that bad. So does it mean that you like Slumdog Millionaire?
No, I felt like it was a mediocre melodrama. I mean, it was fine. When I saw it, I was like, it's not bad. I mean, it did win the Best Picture Oscar, so.
And never a bad movie has won the Oscar
Actually,
like
28
Argo.
Days Later came out when I was 16, and I was just figuring out that I liked movies. And yeah, I was like, how I rented it at Blockbuster, and I was like, how the hell hadn't I heard about this movie? This is amazing.
Look,
That was also when I liked Magnolia. So
look, for me, Danny Boyle is like, he's a director that I don't think that is exceptional. He's a director that I think that whatever he does, there is not any kind of guarantee that I'm going to be like liking it or thinking that it's good.
what about Shallow Grave?
I don't think that it was that.
That I think you would like. Actually, let me rewatch it first before I say that.
Just in case. Just in case. So I don't hold this against you.
Exactly.
So what is your score?
Hold on. I need to. What did I give to the Two Faces of January? 6?
Yeah, you give it a 6.
Oh, that fucks things up. I would give this. Oh, as a whole, I can't just score the first 2.
No, you cannot. It's like this is a whole like 90 minutes movie.
I would give it a
sorry.
4. A 4.
I also gave it a 4.
Oh, okay.
I had already like written down because we agreed that the two first thirds of the movie, they're okay. I mean, if
they're good, stop saying okay. They are good.
They're better than what they should be, given how shitty the last part is.
Yeah. No, taken as a whole, it's I wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
Yeah,
it's definitely not forgettable. I've watched it many, many times.
I mean, it's not forgettable. I remember about like, look, the last part is just a different movie that someone just stitched together on this. But that actually takes me, as I was mentioning, that there is no any kind of warranty about a Danny Boyle movie about being good or not. I had the same feeling with Alex Garland.
That's fair. That's
completely
fair.
It's like, I don't know if it's going to be good or not, because Alex Garland also wrote 20 Days Later. He wrote Annihilation. He wrote Ex Machina.
What about Steve Jobs?
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
Nope.
Also, when I look at his movies, he also directed Yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that movie was really good, but the subject matter didn't interest me.
Well, he has a 55 on Metacritic.
Oh, I heard wrong.
I mean, the thing is that when I watched the trailer, I kind of like, this can be like a cute rom-com kind of thing. But when the critiques just started like coming out, it was like, nope, this is not good.
I thought that when I saw it was in theaters, because I wanted to go see the movies and I didn't recognize it, that I checked Rotten Tomatoes and it was high. But I was clearly mistaken, or it had artificially high reviews until they released it. And then everybody got to see it.
Probably. And then they went to see it and said, no, this is not good. Just forget about that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just interesting. I think that at least with Tarzan Singh, I know that whatever he directs is going to be visually pleasing.
I mean, did you see The Immortals?
I still have to watch it. But, I mean, at least I know that I'm going to have eye candy.
It's true. No, I can't argue. Tarzan is.
But with this guy,
awesome.
Yeah, with this guy, I look those scenes, as I told you, I think that they're like really good as scenes, like from a visual perspective, they're amazing. But overall, I don't even think that from a visual perspective I would recommend it to anyone.
What else have I given a 4 to?
You give a 3.5 to Event Horizon, so you think that this is better than Event Horizon?
Oh, for sure, this is better than Event Horizon.
What about if this movie was only the last third?
If it was only the last third, it would be the same movie.
Just a 4. It's such a solid 4 delivering everything else down. No, you give a 4 to. You give a 2 to Headhunters.
Oh God.
You give a 3 to Brazil. Fuck you. You give a 2.5 to Celine Dion. A 3.5 to Event Horizon, and a 4.5 to Blow Up.
Well, I guess that's all pretty accurate.
Oh yeah, and a 3 to Leon the Professional.
Oh, that makes me so sad. It's in the realm of Leon the Professional.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well.
it is.
Well, overall, I still enjoy the movie, and I'm going to watch it again.
Are you really?
Not today, but I will watch it at some point in the future. I like it. I like this movie. I don't think it's a great movie, but I like it.
Give it a 4.
Yeah,
So,
but that's like film theory. It's not a good movie. Do I enjoy the first two thirds? A lot.
look, let me just put it in a different kind of way. I will watch the core before watching this because the core overall is garbage from the beginning to the end, and it's enjoyable garbage.
Well, you can't teach taste.
God, sure, just go with that. All right. Anything else that we have to discuss about this masterpiece?
I don't think so. Just everyone should go watch it. Rent it. Amazon Prime, $3.99.
The best $3.99 that you can spend. Not really, but sure, go ahead. All right. Well, thanks for listening to us, whoever is out there.
All
If
four of you
you're
and my sister. Hi, Jess.
if you're in a seat up there going towards the sun, just know that we're thankful. We love you.
Until next time,
Wash your hands.
wash your hands.
Bye.